What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to be comparing the Leah set versus the Akane set, but we're going to do something a little bit different today than what we've done in the past. So what I've done in the past is I would take a single character and I would put a card set on him. I'd take a run with them, maybe in Spider Robot, and then I would change the card set, run with the same character, and compare their damage. And in the past, when I've done this with the Leah and the Akane did seem to do more damage than the Leah set. However, because of the Immortal Dungeon guide that I've recently made for you guys, I said that the Akane set was better because of this testing that I've done in the past. But what I should have done is actually tested 3 Leah sets on 3 characters in the Immortal Dungeon, and then 3 Akane sets on the same characters in the Immortal Dungeon to see which is actually better, which actually does more damage. And you might be surprised by the outcome. And full disclosure, my friends, this is the second time I'm recording this video. The first time I actually hit the live stream button, and I was actually live streaming when I was trying to record my video, which is actually pretty damn funny. So we'll jump into Immortal Dungeon. Let's talk about what we're going to do here. So against the Immortal Vulcan, something that I really should stress is on your first team, you really want to try to get as much poison damage applied to this boss as fast as possible. That's why a lot of people like to use SS Mine, the leadership, and then use Elizabeth and Pretty Big, which is actually an insane team because you're getting poison damage from Elizabeth and Pretty Big. They're all getting buffed up from SS Mine, and of course you got SS Mine on the team, and none of them have a type disadvantage against this boss. And you're just going to apply insane poison damage that's going to carry over the second team. It's going to enable you to do a ton of damage. However, with the team that you're seeing right here, we're going to be testing with the 7 Deadly Sins characters. And something to note about them is, with Merlin in the leadership, we do get the 20% PG rate leadership that applies to the 7 Deadly Sins characters. And all of these characters have long 3 PGs. Elizabeth has 30% PG rate in her core. I mean, she just builds up her 3 PG super fast. And King, just insane PG gain, especially with Merlin's leadership or his own leadership, if you're using it. They are crazy. But what we're going to do is we're just going to put the Akane on all 3 of these characters, and we're going to put the Leah on all 3 of these characters, and we're going to see what is the damage difference between them. And, whenever you do these kinds of tests, there is a lot of RNG. I actually done this test about 3 or 4 times already. I did about 3 or 4 runs with the Akane, and then I did about 3 or 4 runs with the Leah set. And surprising results, my friends, surprising results. I was quite surprised. And even though I told you guys that you really should apply as much damage as fast as possible, these characters, because of their decreased damage received, Merlin, she's just crazy, right? She's got the hyper armor, and she has the decreased damage received by 70%, which is crazy for 4 seconds, right? That's going to give her insane survivability on top of the 3 PG. And even though Elizabeth doesn't have immunity or hyper armor, she does have a decreased damage received by 85%. That's a lot. And she will die in the runs I'm going to do, but Immortal Vulcan, the thing to remember about this guy is he applies burn damage. So yeah, you're going to take a lot of dot damage when you're facing this guy, which is again why I stress doing as much damage as fast as possible on your first team. But even though that's what I am stressing, still stalling the timer with this specific team is actually quite insane. And then King, of course, because of his 3 PG, because of his hyper armor, he doesn't have a decreased damage received on him actually, but he does have an increased attack by 40% of defenses, but that's not actually making him any tankier. It's just the more defensive he has, the more attack he's going to build. But we're actually going to be running with the Akane and Leah on him. Like I said, all 3 of these characters are going to have Akanes and Leah on them. And we're going to do something different than what I've normally done. What we're actually going to do is I'm going to put up a split screen showing the Akane run on one side and the Leah run on the other side, so you guys can see the run at the same time. That way this video isn't an eternity long. Okay, so we have the Akane on the right and we have the Leah on the left. And it is actually quite interesting to see what's going to happen here. Now, something about the Leah set is, it has the proc where you can proc your active skills. You have a 30% chance of proccing your active skills on a 45-second cooldown. And the thing to remember about this is whenever you're using these long 3 PGs, that countdown is still going on. Like say the Leah set procs, right? Early on in the fight. Well, whenever you're doing all these supers and all these 3 PGs, the Leah set, actually that countdown is still going down while you're doing these long 3 PGs. So you're actually going to be proccing the Leah much more often than what you actually think you will. And when you're putting the Leah on 3 different characters, right? That is just more times that your skills are going to be activating throughout this fight. And every time you're doing your skills and hitting Immortal Vulcan, you're going to be building up your PG even faster. I mean, yeah, you have the 30% chance to do the extra 150% additional damage from the Akane, but you're not resetting your skills unless, you have Merlin who can reset her second skill from her third skill. I mean, unless you got characters like that. But the Leah can actually reset all of your active skills. So if you do 3 skills, and then the third skill you do, the Leah Set procs, you just got your 3 skills again. You have 2 full rotations, which means that you're going to be doing more damage. You're going to be building up your PG even faster. And right now, almost halfway into the fight, you can see that the Akane's done about 115 million damage, and the Leah Set's actually done about 122 million damage. My nose itches a little bit. And so the Leah is pulling ahead, and that's why, because it's actually proccing more often. And also because it's proccing more often, and you're doing your skills more often and building your PG more often, you're going to be doing your supers more often. Now, again, against Immortal Vulcan, you really want to do as much damage as fast as possible to this guy. You just want to apply as much poison damage as you can. But doing your supers more often, if your characters are tanky enough, especially like Elizabeth and Merlin, who have those decreased damage received, and as long as every time I switch to King, I hurry up and hit that hyper armor to increase the survivability, you're just going to do more damage over time. The Leah Set, because of, the constant being able to reset your procs, because of constantly using your supers and letting those cooldowns run on the for your active procs for the Leah Set, it just means you're proccing so much more often, right? And you're just doing a lot more damage because of it. Right now, the Akane is 230 million and the Leah is about 230 million. So they're actually tied right now. But as this fight progresses, you'll see at the end that the Leah actually will pull out ahead. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause this fight whenever we get down to the end of the first round with the Akane set, because it's actually going to finish first. Then the Leah, you see the Leah's got 13 seconds left. The Akane's got 5 seconds left. So that tells you already that with the Leah set, we are doing our supers more often. So that's something to keep in mind for, future card sets that you should run on these characters. Now, we're going to go ahead and pause this here as soon as it hits 0-0. And I believe Merlin's going to do an attack after this. I think she's going to do her default. Yeah, she's doing her default right now. We're going to go ahead and pause it. Okay, so 292 million, right? And on the left with the Leah set, we've actually done 288 million. So the Akane has done more damage than the Leah. But because we're doing our supers more often, you can see Elizabeth died in both of these runs already. But because we're doing our supers more often, because we've done our active skills more often and built up our PG even faster and enabled us to do our supers more often, right? We still have 7 seconds left on the first team. And I've done this 3 or 4 times. I did 3 runs with the Leah set, 3 runs with the Akane set, and this is what was happening every single time. So we'll go ahead and play this out and see how much more damage we actually do. So, about 290 million, right? Okay, we broke 300 million with the Leah set. Keep going, girl. Keep going. God, I love Merlin, man. She's freaking insane. Those of us that have her, we're loving life. Oh, she's so awesome. And really Elizabeth, too, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you can still use Athena and SS Chris. I know I kind of talked a little too much. Let me back up a little bit here. And right there. So we did 327 million. So almost 40 million more damage than what we did with the Akane. Because we were doing our supers more often, because we're, proccing our active skills more often, it just enabled us to stall the timer for a longer period of time. And that enables us to do a lot more damage. And against other Immortal dungeons, this is going to be more of a benefit. You're going to do a lot better probably running with the Leah set. So I think actually in the Immortal Dungeon guide that I've created for you guys, I think I'm going to put the Leah on top. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that. So let me know how you're all feeling about this damage comparison between the Akane and the Leah, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT plus 7 time every day. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See ya.